Greetings everyone! Our final project in class was to create a lesson plan or unit plan incorporating the needs for students. Since I want to be a computer science teacher of some kind, I want to focus on creating a plan around something you would see in computer science class. I didn't want to go over all your heads with something advanced, something I'm more familiar with because that's what I've been dealing with lately. So I decided that I will do basic concepts that you would learn in like an intro class or something along that lines. The first step to the plan was finding the target age group to work or with. When remembering my experiences in computer science, most middle school classes were about typing correctly, home row, that kind of thing, or using basic website design, basic HTML coding, which is okay, but I want to do something a little bit more than that, something more programming. So when you get right into actual programming classes, you generally start off with classes that deal with Java or C++. And that was in high school, so it's a broad area high school. I figured it was a good place to start. Next part of the plan for me was finding out what actually you need in a lesson plan. I'm new to this. I'm not a teacher yet. I've only actually made one lesson plan before, and it was okay. It was a lot smaller and a lot easier. So this is more of a learning experience for me. So I started off looking around online for information on how to make a lesson plan, or at least get a good idea for a lesson plan I could do. Unfortunately, most lesson plans for computer science classes, more specifically programming classes, are very straightforward, boring, make a hello world program, or make a video game, something a little too complex for what I wanted. So I wanted to find something a little bit easier. So I went above and beyond and looked through some science and math lesson plans I found online, and I found some aspects of each that I could manipulate and use to create a lesson plan for a computer science class. That, starting with modular arithmetic, I found for a 5th grade math class. So starting from there, I developed into a Caesar cipher, which uses specific shifting of numeric code to create a cipher for students to crack and whatnot. That was from a science class. So combining those two with elements from computer science, because you learn about modular arithmetic in computer science, it's a major component, along with things like ASCII, which is the values of numbers, letters, and everything else on your keyboard in computer language. So putting it all together, I was able to come up with a great idea for a lesson plan. Next part for me was to look through and see what needs I could meet. The first one we tackle is creativity and innovation. We go with the third option there, which is create original works as a means of personal or group expression. Programming is all about creation. Students create a program. Within those programs, you are creating methods and functions which determine how the program functions. Now, how is this an expression of yourself or a group? Well, when creating programs or any part of a program, you have various different ways you can do it. Programs can solve problems, and those problems can be solved many different ways. It's kind of like writing. You can always put yourself into it. So it's a good thing to help express yourself and what you're doing. The students will be creating two programs, an encryption program and a decryption program. The encryption program encrypts data using a modular arithmetic and ASCII values, and that encrypts a message, whereas the decryption program does the opposite. They have simple goals, but they can be completed in different ways, and there's a lot of creation involved in coding. The next one is communication and collaboration. We look down at B, which is communicate information and ideas effectively to multiple audiences using a variety of media and formats. The first communication for the assignment is done in the form of discussion. The teacher, after explaining modular arithmetic, begins a short discussion by asking the class what time would appear on a clock after certain intervals of hours pass by. This is a simple communication between the class and the teacher done verbally, and may be done with the use of an application, whiteboard, or something similar. The second communication comes from Group work. Students work together to learn about modular shifts. They trade messages in a paper format with members in the group and then decrypt the messages. This is a group exercise where they discuss in their groups about modular shift communicated through verbal and paper means. The final communication is done with the computer. The students in the group discuss how to best program an encryption and decryption program. After creating the program, they must find an internet image or video, encrypted its URL, and then the groups trade the encrypted URL with other groups and decrypt the messages. There is more team discussion and communication through technology as they create code and find information online. We go now to research and information fluency. We look down at do, process data, and report results. The students may not be researching anything specific, but they have to find and encrypt URL links from appropriate images or videos and share those with other groups in the class. They are selecting information from online sources and then using it in order to report results. The results are the decrypted message once they decrypt the message, in which is a URL. They also receive lines from poems in which they must decrypt. Once they decrypt that information, they must find a poem that the lines come from and then report that result.